Hey guys, welcome back to another video today. If you can tell, it's been a while since I made a video, but I'll explain about that later, why it's been so long since I made a video. Oh, just going to mix feeding this morning here, and then there's not a whole lot going on, but I figure it's been a while since I made a video. I'm also gonna do something, so that's what I'm gonna do. The barn, the milk truck's here already. The milk truck used to come like at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Now it comes more like at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of in the afternoon. Why did they switch those times? I don't really know, but probably something to do with the plant more than anything. But hopefully don't change it too many times, because it was a different time before. It was like 10 o'clock or more like noon. And the robots have to shut off for a while and wash, and everything has to wash every time the milk truck comes, so you know it's coming at different times. Well, the robots are doing that at different times all the time, and yeah, the cows don't necessarily like that. But if you don't keep changing it all the time, it's not, if they leave it the same time all the time, then it's not bad, but if you don't, then it's not very good. I just hooked onto the shaver here, but you guys might notice there's something a little different here. The corn size pile is going that way, but the haters is coming this way now, and then there's a little more of a pile here. Well, this is second and third cutting. No, first and second cutting. And yeah, I didn't make no videos of that because of reasons. And yeah. Well, the main reason why I haven't really been making videos is because, I don't know, the last video that I made, I was in that field right there, and I had my mount thing, I had my GoPro on in a bad spot, not a really ideal spot. It's pointing at the tractor. And I was on the phone, and I kind of forgot about it back there, so when I folded it up, it completely broke just the mount, not necessarily, the GoPro's fine, but it broke the mount because it landed like right on top of it. And I don't know why it took me so long to get another mount. Like, I guess I just never really took time to just get one. Because I had some credit card issues for a minute. The one got hacked a little bit, so I couldn't use it for a while, and then I don't know, a whole bunch of other things, and I just didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like doing anything. Like, there's not much going on around here during summer anyways, just the basic stuff. I mean, I kind of missed on the chop and quarters things, but there is one more cutting yet, so I'll get it one more time here yet. And I mean, no need to show it 3 times when it's the same thing every time they come and do it. But we don't do the chopping, we do the cutting hay and the packing part of things, where we have a sheet foot roller up in the shed there, but then after the chopping part, we don't do that. But yeah, I'm gonna go shave silage here now, and then just continue mixing feed. I just got done pushing the sides where I need to go with it. And this here 280 skiller here, tires are getting a little bit bald. It's getting, especially this here one here. And here's right. This one was back here, and I put that one up front because when the mixer sits right there, so the corn size is right there and Hayes is over there. We're constantly going like this way. So this here tire is the one that gets worn down the quickest. They always going this way, and it's always turning mostly on that one tire the most. I was putting the most strain on that one tire. So switching around, and hopefully it lasts a little longer yet before you have to put the new set on. This Skoda does have 842 hours on it. So the tires honestly aren't lasting too bad for how much tar work we do with it. So before this, we had a New Holland 328, and the first set of tires that were on that one only lasted not even 400 hours, and this in here is lasting up until 800 hours. So I mean, they're still going yet, so they can easily go up to 1,000, I think, before actually needing to put new ones on it. And we put some Titan tires on the 320 after that first set. Even those ones didn't last that long. So I never actually used to mix feed back in the day when I was first here. It was somebody else I was hired to do that, and they were always kind of, they basically turn on a dime everywhere they went. And when me and my brother mix feed, we do a lot more like gradual turns with it. I think that's 95% of the reason why the tires are lasting longer, because we don't turn right on a dime all the time. We just nicely turn everywhere. And that's just icy out, so you can just do that and it won't wear the tires that bad. Or if it's, I don't know, it's white out a little bit, I don't know. There's white out doesn't seem to wear them out quite as quickly that way, but it still does. In here has about, what's in this one gonna have? It has 3,400 hours on this one. So yeah, the skillers get used quite a bit. Yesterday, the other day, I seen a TikTok that this guy was rating skillers, and he put New Holland and Case pretty low on the list of the kind of piece of junk skillers, but or the type of breakdowns they have, or this and that is wearing out on them. It's like, I don't know if that guy ever has ran New Holland or Case skillers a day in his life, because before this Kubota we had a New Holland 220, and that thing got beat to crap because people that worked there before me, they were hard on that skiller, and when they would clean out pens with that thing, it would get even more beat on. It got beat on really hard. It had 6,000-7,000 hours on when they got rid of it, and the 5 years that they had it when I was here, it never got in once, and never ever broken down. The 5 years I was here, nothing. Only thing we had issues with was it overheating a couple times, but that's because it ran out of coolant, and like it had coolant in the tank, but that was just a reservoir. It doesn't, or not the reservoir, the overflow tank. So like it didn't have enough in the radiator itself. So then once I put coolant in the radiator, and it was fine. But yeah, that 220, that thing got beat on. That thing was a beast. The 328, that one did have a couple problems. Like not really any major, but just one oil leak that I had. I mean, that's anything that can have an oil leak, but it had an oil leak, and then the hydraulics quit working one time for whatever reason. And other than that, Other than those two things, it was pretty good. I have 4,000 hours on it. We got rid of it for this one, and this year's been great for the last 800 hours we had. So I don't know why people come up with New Holland and Case being junk when they're pretty solid skillers. Like when we got this Kubota, it was we traded in the New Holland 220 for this Kubota, and when we did that, the New Holland came back about 3 more times after we bought this one, just because this one here has a regen thing in it for whatever reason. I don't know why it even has that. It just doesn't have depth. The New Hollands and Case don't have that regen. They just have a different type of filter or exhaust thing, whatever they got on those. And this here, the regen sensor went out, so it was always on. And honestly, you shut off with that on, it's really bad for the engine. So it got taken in for a sensor, then had to get new injectors, or I forget exactly what the second one was, and then one other time for something else. And the first time they brought out the New Holland right away, and we used that one until they got this one fixed. The second time that broke, they brought out a Bobcat to use. So they brought out a Bobcat the first time that the 220 broke down, or the Kubota broke down, and I used it for about an hour, maybe. And then the quick attach broke on that one. I don't know why, but it did. And then they brought out the New Holland again. So the New Holland was back a couple times. The dealership we brought it into is Arnold's in St. Martin over there, and they're pretty good. Like a lot of dealers around here will bring you out a skiller when you're just getting fixed for you to use. At the one time when the 320 did break, I had an oil leak in it. They brought out a 228 for us just to use until they got that one fixed. So before this farm, it kind of can't go without a bigger skiller like this, because we need it for mixing feed. So every time one breaks, they gotta bring out another one for us to use, because we kind of need it. And yeah, I'm not too much of a brand. I'm not scared to drive any brand of anything, like tractors or skillers or anything. Like I just like equipment in general. But New Holland is what I grew up using, and that's what I know. So I maybe am a little biased to the New Hollands because that's what I'm used to. But I won't back down driving a Kubota or a John Deere or a Bobcat or anything else. Like I won't say no, I can't drive that because it's a John Deere or whatever. But y'all got the pros and cons. Alright, I'm just coming to the shed here now, and the band chopper's right here. I'm just gonna take the twines off. I got 2 other bales out there. I'll give that barn all 3 bales. Because for whatever reason, on that end of the barn, it gets so sloppy, so fat. I don't know why. They seem to always want to lay down there instead they don't use the whole barn. They always lay way down there. But we got the 8 clouds from the band chopper, because we actually got rid of the white. We sold the white, we sold the fast track, and we sold the bidirectional. So yeah, we actually got rid of quite a bit of stuff. There used to be old feed garden in here, you guys remember? It's still sitting down there. You can't see it from right here, but it's still sitting down there. That hasn't, it's sold, but the guy hasn't came to get it yet. Same with the feeder wagon, still down there. Because there used to be an old inverter in here they got rid of. An old crimper thing, a merger that we got rid of for when we bought that Case skiller. We traded in for that. And then small screw brother that we had, or they had, whatever. And we got rid of a lot of things that we don't use anymore that was kind of just sitting around here. The feed garden hasn't been used in a long time. The feeder wagon we quit using. We used to use it in the heifer yard, but then we started using the mixer because it just works better. It feeds out better than that feeder wagon ever did. And we don't want to actually do more of a mix out there. And that feeder wagon worked actually really nice just because it wasn't that big. and the maneuver around there was actually really nice. But it only worked with silage. You put any type of hay in there, it didn't really like that very much. It would just balled up, and yeah, it just didn't like it very much for whatever reason. So we got rid of all that stuff, and then we traded in the big screw baler for that spreader right there. So we got a nicer vertical beater spreader. This is Kuhn. This is just a push spreader. Yeah, just trade in for this here. That was definitely something that needed to get upgraded, because spreaders that we still got the other two. We didn't trade in any spreaders, so right now we got 3 spreaders. But the bigger one of the two, I took the beaters off of it, and now I just use that for piling manure. This in here will probably only get used when we haul in the fields. Actually, no, it will only get used for that. And the big screw baler we didn't really use either. Any type of baling we do around here, we round bale it anyways. So we just got rid of that thing. And we actually did end up buying a tractor. I'll probably show you guys that sometime here. But at some point here, I'll probably just give you a glimpse at it a little bit. But we sold all that stuff mostly to buy one nicer tractor, because the white and the fast shack were kind of iffy. The Buyer Action was pretty good yet, but the white and the fast shack were definitely, the white was, I don't know, they were both kind of, the fast shack never got used because nobody liked it, and the white was on here, but this tractor works pretty good on here too. So I'm gonna cut these twines off now. Instead of talking about it, I'm just gonna do it here now. I started putting the bills in this way because it's easier to take the twines off. Another thing, I like to know where the knots are at. I know where to cut it, so when I pull the twines off, they don't get stuck way back there. And that's a sheep foot roller right there. Still got that little John Deere that we use on that auger out there quite a bit in the dragging yard, and what else we use it for. And I'll just cut these off. I got nowhere to set up my camera here, so I'll just cut these off and go. just got done bedding. The one thing I did like about the white being on here, it had more power and it sat up higher, so you can see a little better. This in here is a little bit lower, which is not that big a deal, but the white was definitely was a little bit nicer that way. But not like it doesn't work, but it just doesn't have quite the grunt power like what the white did. Alright, I got the Kubota in the shop here now. I'm just gonna open up the bag in here. And to be honest with you, I never really have changed oil on the Kubota before. So this is gonna be my first time. The last time this one was changed, I didn't do it. So I actually never really have done it. So yeah, I guess assuming you take a pan off the bottom and then you just drain the oil at the bottom. The oil filter's right there, which is easy to get to. But to fill it, I know it's not the nicest thing in the world, because I heard people saying that it's not that nice. Yeah, now blow up the air filter, radiator, whatnot, and then yeah. Now there's the tractor that we ended up getting right there, or they ended up getting, or I didn't buy this, but this isn't mine, so I'm not gonna show it too much. But just a New Holland 2012 New Holland T8 330, so it's more like a 290 Magnum, pretty much, Case Magnum. It's pretty similar to that. It's one thing I never, this is the first New Holland I even been in or driven or whatever, but I noticed that the front axle sticks out farther than the case does. Like this one sticks past the hood a little bit. There's a lot more room than right here where you can just, you know, walk right in here and do what you need to do in here, and you can walk in there a lot nicer than a case can. But I don't know why it is that much longer. I'm not sure. Literally just for that, or is for the ride. I'm sure it rides smoother than a Magnum does, but I'm not 100% sure. It does have the Pro 700 in it, and so the same thing as a case that way. And I wasn't wanting to buy it, but I know they got it for a pretty good deal off of the Steffes auction. That's what really sold all the other stuff from. But I can't say too much about it because I'm not going to say too much about it. But the equipment that we sold is what bought this tractor. Everything that we sold down there, that's the reason why we sold it, was to get a nicer tractor, and that's what we got here, is a nicer tractor than what we had. So, a lot of tractors that we did have, we didn't really use anyways. I mean, we did use, but they weren't really good, nice using ones. So, that's the one we ended up getting, so, or they ended up getting. I always say we, but I didn't do anything, so. Yeah, I'm just gonna change oil on this, and then, yeah, I'm gonna figure out where everything is first, and then I'll get back to you when I know where everything is. Yeah, I finally found where I'm supposed to drain oil. So I kind of took that pan off for no reason, but when that opens it up underneath the engine, I'll clean out in here while I have it off. But it's actually just this little cover right here that you slide or take off wherever. And then there's this hose right here with this end on it like this, and then you just take that off and drain it oil. So I make a phone call to people that know more about distillers than I do and figure out what exactly that was. So I thought it was under the engine, but I guess not. It's just on the side like this. But at least now I know. I guess I already ever changed oil in this before, so. Or in a Kubota before. But now I'll drain the oil, and then take the filter off, put new oil in. I was using the new filter first, but yeah. Oh yeah, it broke loose already. Just gonna take this off and I'll start draining. Wow. drains a lot slower than I thought. The oil isn't very hot because I did just get done using it, so that's what they say it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be hot, so it is hot. I don't know, I really like, I don't know. I know the old New Hollands, like the older ones, it was like, what year is that? Like 2015 and older. They had it coming along up to the side, like over here. Take a shield off over here and go out on the side, which was really nice because, which was actually kind of nice because it's pretty easy to get to. But the bad part about it drained very slow, like what this does. And now the new ones, they have this little, I don't know, I got one up here. No, not. I do got one around here somewhere. But there's like this green hose thing that attaches to it. And when you put that on, it'll start draining. Right here. This is little hose right here that you screw on. Once you screw it on, it'll start coming out. And it's not as nice because you got to crawl underneath there and do it, but it's nicer just because it does drain fairly quick. And I don't take off the oil cap. Everything's hot and everything's oil filter is easy to get to, but everything else is not a whole lot easier than a New Holland cases. So I'll probably grease this thing while I wait for this to drain. So I'll do that, and then once it gets done draining, then I'll take the filter off, and then yeah. Alright, I was going to use that one, electric grease gun, but I don't have a battery for it, so I'll just use this guy, but I need a new tube of grease. Oh, gotta shrivel it up. Get the cap off. Put it in there. Put this end off. Wipe off the axis so you can have all the full. Everything costs a lot of money nowadays, so you gotta make sure you get all of it. And put it back in there. Yeah, full tube of grease. There, now there's geese coming out of it. I just got done greasing it. Just gonna come over here and clean off the grease gun a little bit. Clean off the end of it some. Now with my own hands. Yeah. Throw this junk away. There, got it greased up. And then I'll check the oil here once. See how much is left to come out there. And I'll take the filter off here now. And yeah, I still have a little bit coming out there. Empty. I don't know, you can't even see that, but I'll take the filter off now. And I'll put the new one on already. So yeah, we got this tractor too, the old Ford. So look at this is what New Holland used to be. And that's what it is now. I mean, the new ones look a little bit different, but not too much different than that. Use this one. You see, actually, they work pretty good. Yeah, they work. They work. I mean, these guns, these here are nice, but same time it can be a little bit of a butt. Am I even using this right? I don't know. Yeah, I'll switch a different one. This one instead, make that a little bigger. There we go. That was on there pretty tight. This one here was the one I needed, I guess. The other one works pretty good. They don't put them on too tight, but I drain out a little bit. I mean, I already poked a hole in it, so I'll just let it drain out. I've been trying to poke a hole in it, but that's just what happened. Someone who I changed one of his labs made it on there pretty tight. There, got her off. Just break the filter, dump it right in there. Goes into this barrel. There, you got the oil one off. Actually, one thing I want to make sure of is that, yep, that's right there. I'm making sure of. Or did it not go stay on there? Maybe it did come off. Oh, it did come off. Never mind. Never mind. But sometimes if the O-ring from the old filter stays on there, you screw a new one on, it's going to dump all your oil out. If you wonder how or why I know that, because I figured it out before. Not in the good way, but I have figured out. He's a new filter right here. Just clean my hand off and I get dirty right away. Yeah, look at that fresh new filter. Look at that, look at that. Alright, got the filter right here, you can see that. So I'm gonna get some oil over here to put on here. Oh, yeah. So you put some oil on the seal, up the seal bit. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that already, but if you don't, now you do. Screw the new one on here. Alright, that's all you need. Now people, when you change oil, you don't need to crank it on there with one of these after you get it on there. You just make it hand tight, because otherwise it's a pain in the absolute donkey to get out. Or get off, not out, just off. But that's why you don't tighten it down anymore than you need to. So they kind of tighten themselves as they are on there. Let's see if she's done draining yet. Pull the dipstick out. Clean her off. Just use her shirt. Ideally probably not, but you know what? That's what's on me right now, so put it back in there and probably leave it out. Hope it drains a little more if it needs any more coming out. Not hold as much oil as I thought it did, but I don't know if this thing was all out. Yeah, she's all out. Put this back on there. Up a little bit. It's not there actually to this, but okay, thanks. Going to dump this oil. This filter here is probably the best one to use. What are you gonna do? Actually, what I could do is take this off. Can't even see what the heck I'm doing here. There, there we go. Let's take this off of here. Some more room. Put this oil. Are you serious? Fine, be that way. That was not cut very nicely. I'm sure people are yelling at me right now the way I'm doing this right now. But you know what? I don't really care. I mean, it's not going to take it in very fast. Go figure. Not the biggest end on the funnel, so. And to be honest, honestly, I don't know how much this thing actually takes either. But I'll just put my seams right and just check the dipstick. For me, just look up how much it actually holds, but the amount that was in that oil pan wasn't that much. I do not need a show. Alright, I just got done now with, I fed the 6 pens, I got the skiller change oil and whatnot. And now I'm just leaving right now because it's already 1:49. Well, this is the one field here, alfalfa that we planted this spring. Remember that video when we were planting this? We already took one cutting off of it. The second cutting that we did, that was the first cutting that we did take off of it. It actually did really well. We got quite a bit off of there. Wasn't too wet to do anything, so it worked out pretty good. And there's a cornfield right there. Not quite tasseling. A lot of people's fields are, but we got ours in a little bit later, so it's not tasseling quite yet. But it's getting pretty close. Getting very close to tasseling. Yeah, corn's looking pretty good. We have had more than enough rain this year so far. As you can see it both here, you can see the tracks down the field a little bit where they drove the trucks, but otherwise it looks pretty good. Along the lake over there, where it was a little more wet, is definitely a little more tore up a little bit. But here's our field here as ours. Looking pretty good too. This field probably looks the best. This one and the one down there. The ones on the other side of the road down there, the first ones that we planted, those there are doing pretty good. We gotta look at those some other day, not right now. But the first few that we planted though, along the first headland that we did plant, down there probably looks the worst just because that's where we're still getting the planter set up yet. And there's quite a few random gaps here and there just because everything was still getting set up and getting going, and you know, it takes a little bit to get everything set the way you want it. So there's another few right there. That was the last few that we planted right there. And down there is actually looking really nice. Now it is starting to tassel though. So that's the last field that we planted. But right now I'm just heading home. My home's right over there. But yeah, this farm here, I just work at this farm that I make videos at. But people that are there are nice enough to let me do that. But like where I actually live is, or our farm is over there. Can't even see it this way. But the oats field right there, it's not ours, but somebody else's field. That 2.5 inches of rain we got the other day, it came down pretty hard, and it made the oats pretty flat. So yeah, a lot of people's corn are tasseling like that. Their field's tasseling quite a bit, and it goes to show how long it's been since I made a video. Because my last video that I made was still planting, so it's been a little while since I made a video. So yeah, that'll be the end of today's video. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time.